Very good evening, everybody, and we're just settling down for a bit of Wales against Australia in the first massively significant match of the Rugby World Cup 2023, because it's the first time that one of the Tier 1 nations could go out of the competition. We've just had the national anthems, and we've got a few advertisement breaks on the TV just now before we go into the match itself. And we're looking good. We have Wayne Barnes as the referee tonight, English guy, 44 years old, and he's a veteran of several World Cups. And we are in the home of gastronomy in France, the gastronomic country of the world. And welcome to my living room. I hope that you can hear this okay, see this okay. I wish I was in Lyon. I'm sure you do too. And we're not. We're in southwest Scotland, where you may be able to hear is an absolute hurricane outside. But let's see what happens in the game. And we're ready under starters orders. And here we go. This is an experimental live stream for this show and this YouTube channel. Never done this before, but we'll see how it goes. There's Lewis Rees-Summit getting ready for kickoff, and Wales look completely well up for it, but so do the Aussies. And the Aussies so much at stake today, because they could exit the competition. It's never happened before in 9 previous iterations of this tournament. And there is a very significant possibility of Australia exiting should they not win this game. Now, that's very likely because Wales are in the ascendancy, let's face it. Wayne Barnes is ready, Luke Pearce and Christoph Ridley assisting him tonight, and Tom Foley is the TMO for tonight's game. So we're under starters orders, and Tate McDermott will get us underway. The Australian 10 straight in there, and wow, away with that a bit. Is he not rolling away? Okay, so Barnes has given that penalty to Wales. And Dan Biggar will get a chance to kick for touch there. And a big take from Will Rowlands. So good on him. Will Rowlands starting in the 4 jersey tonight for Wales. Okay, no, that's a fair decision on the replay from Wayne Barnes. Shows you how difficult it is for the referees. But there we go. He's in there, failing to clear out. And the other lock there, getting up well, Beard. And a nice carry through midfield. The left winger coming in from Australia to try and clear out, but no, another nice touch there from Biggar. So a good start from Wales, territorial gains. They're down well inside the 22 of Australia, and Dan Biggar bossing it with the boot so far, although he's already tried to open the game up, so looking very good indeed. Now, what can we do? David Parecki throwing in, the captain tonight for Australia, don't forget. Big carry from Valentini there, big head knock. But the Aussie, the Australian number 8 there, Rob Valentini, allowing his scrum half to clear his lines nicely. Nearly, that's a great clearing kick there. So we're nearly up to halfway. Minute 45 played, everybody just calming down into the game. Tate McDermott will be very happy to get his first kick, clearance kick in there from 9, a very live wire in this Australian side. One of the youngsters as well, he's 25, and on the caps front, he's at 25 as well. So by these standards, fairly experienced. And Wales, here we go. First line out, and lovely clean take. Blindside flanker coming through. What a line there. This is try time for Wales. Absolutely amazing line. What a start for Wales. Absolute sheer beauty. Straight out the Welsh playbook. And you can't get a better start than that for Wales. A beautiful throw. And that in itself is great for Wales. Ryan Ellis really steadying into the game well with a great first throw there. Taken very cleanly. Aaron Wainwright, beautiful take in the middle. Ping, ping, ping. And the line taken. That's amazing. Beautiful line there. Jack Morgan, captain's role, coming through on the burst. So there's 2 passes in there from And the extras are going through as well. So beautiful from Wales. All the experience necessary there, which is something that the Australians might be lacking tonight. Tompkins takes the ball. Lovely quick pass from quick hands from the 9, quick hands from Bigger, as you'd expect. Tompkins bursting through, offload to Jack Morgan, the captain, who bursts on through and gives it back to Maker and creator Gareth Davies. And Wales 7 points to the good already. Talupi Faletau with a good carry there from the kickoff. So we're underway again. 7-0 to Wales. And Wayne Barnes just giving a stay on side sign there. Okay, there we go. Davies with a box kick off the back of the scrum to get a bit of territory. Ball just into the Australians' half, but now they're back onto the Wales 10-metre line. And here's McDermott pinging the ball out. Nice interplay there in the midfield. There's forwards and midfielders in the midfield there. Good ground made by Australia on the first phase. And now they're near the touchline, on the 5-metre line, getting a bit close to the touchline, but they're still recycling the ball. And McDermott straight into the heavy lifters' second row carry there. And again, McDermott very busy, as you'd expect of him. But there's a terrible, terrible knock on from James Slipper. And the tight head prop there, you'd expect one of the more experienced in this very inexperienced Australian 15. And Slipper's got a bit of a look of irony on his face, but they know that they're going back for a previous infringement. So Australia retaining possession. James Slipper there, the 34-year-old, 131 caps for Slipper. But here's Donaldson, other end of the scale on the experience front, 2 caps he has just on. So it really is quite incredible. And he's starting at 10 for Australia, the 24-year-old New South Welshman. Okay, so the captain, Dave Parecki, here we go. And Australia now find themselves in a good position, having kicked that penalty for touch. And a bit of a scrappy pass back. But here we go, right winger coming in on the crash ball. And quick ball from McDermott. And they're driving on again. Good defence in the midfield from Wales, but getting carried forward by his own number 5. It's great heavy lifting from the forwards there from Australia, but pushed back now by the Irish defence. Great work from Adam Beard and Will Rowlands in there. And the 9 goes himself. McDermott, you'd expect him to do exactly that. Very, very busy scrum half. Will Rowlands going first phase off the ruck. A big, big push back there from Ryan Ellis, the number 2 shirt, the hooker for Wales. Here we go again now. Space for the Australians. Oh, but they've dropped it. Absolutely unbelievable. Who was that dropping that? It's gone backwards though, has it? I think Barnes is playing on, so it's gone backwards. The right wing coming off his ring, they're right in the middle of the park. McDermott to the left wing now. One of the Fijian contingent, and McDermott recycles again. Plenty of phases here for Australia. Valentini, as you would imagine, piston legs, drive forward, and here we go. The blindside flanker going now, and then the right winger involved again, as you'd expect. Very, very busy. The ruck goes to ground. Now Kanita was again involved there. That right winger, you can't keep him out of the game. And that's a 12 shirt for Australia, saying there's been a high tackle there. James Slipper getting chopped out of the tackle there by Thomas Fraser. Oh, it's a breakthrough. And Australia, that's possibly a high tackle there from Reece Zammit. But the Australians are looking like scoring there. Okay, so we've got a Welshman on the floor, but great attacking phases there from Australia. Bursting through tackles, but great defence from Faletau. That was a try-saving tackle. And then recycled by Donaldson. And the beautiful handling skills there from Richie Arnold, and offloading, and it looked like a certain try there for Australia. Angus Bell bursting through. Eddie Jones completely pan-faced as usual, as you would expect it to be, with a slightly forked eyebrow. His permanent expression is like to add a bit of Botox, and nothing really changes. Now, this could be a big moment. Is that Dan Bigger on the floor? Looks like his shoulders popped a little bit. Cheers, everyone, by the way. Consommé avec modération, as they say in France. We've got a bit of Pete Pool de Pinet in the glass tonight. Nice little cheeky white wine. Drinks break. So that's a funny kind of place. Just watching the replays there, a Bigger injuring himself, and he's putting a tackle there, backtracking. Doesn't look like anything particularly that would hurt you, but there's big people to bring down, and he's in quite a lot of discomfort. It's his right shoulder, and the medics are on the pitch. So what we go, there's a stat already to behold: 18 rucks won by Australia and 3 for Wales. So really, since that Wales try, it's really been all Wallabies and everybody taking a bit of a breather. It's been completely breathless start. Bigger looks like he's okay to go on. He's taking some water on. So here's hoping. Anscombe on the touchline, getting ready to go. Gareth Anscombe in the 22 shirt. He's ready to replace Bigger if he needs to. But really, for Wales, it'd be disastrous to have to replace Bigger this early in the game. So Ben Donaldson, the Australian 10 tonight, pretty standard fare for him, you would hope, right in front of the post, 15 yards out, penalty to Australia. Is it going to be 7-3 with 8 minutes on the clock? You would imagine so. He's got 15 seconds left to take his penalty, and there you go. So a very good start from both teams. Beautiful attacking play from Wales, but then having scored the extras as well, 7-point try. It's all been Australia since then. Lots of phases, lots of interchange, lots of forwards involvement, lots of midfield involvement. Everybody from 1 to 15 involved basically in that attack. I don't know how many phases it was, but it was probably a couple of dozen, and they've come out of it with 3 points. Could have been 7, but for some very good Welsh defence. Okay, we're back underway. Bigger kicks off deep into the 22, halfway between the 22 and the Aussie try line, and they recycle nicely. And here's McDermott off the back of the ruck, ready to go. Nearly a charge down there, but he's got it to the halfway line almost. That really is another great clearance off the back of the ruck, belying his years there from Tate McDermott. There's Adam Beard on screen, and he's up for a 50th cap tonight. And already looming very large in the game, Richie Arnold, his opposite number in the Australian 5 jersey. It's a bit of a funny option there from Josh Adams, who'd come into the attacking line, the Welsh left winger for tonight. And the Australians have recycled that well. And McDermott passing back into his 22, but Donaldson fluffs it and get on top of him. Is he going to make the tackle? Great tackle there from Captain Jack on the ball, and the Welsh midfield hurry in to help with the defence. Now, that's something that's been really symptomatic of this World Cup, is very muggy conditions, lots of humidity, and a greasy pigskin to play with. And that just literally a real bullet of a pass back from McDermott to Donaldson, well in his 22, but it just burst through his hands, and he had to backtrack to get his own mistake. Jack Morgan, oh dear, I mean, it's a bit high. In fairness, it was a bit head height, the pass from McDermott, but you would expect really Donaldson to take that. And Captain Jack Morgan, the open side flanker for Wales. Oh, that's a bit long on the throw, and Australia are able to exploit. Okay, Donaldson repairing his problems there, and inside centre does really well for Australia, who recycle the ball again. McDermott's running through onto his own kick. What's Liam Williams going to be able to do with that? It's frantic stuff. Rees-Zammit gets the ball back, but has it gone forward from Liam Williams to Rees-Zammit? And it looks like everybody stopped, so it's going to be a yes. That's a bit of a big error for somebody of his, but it's so frantic in there. It's a really incisive kick from McDermott, the Aussie scrum half, and a bit of a pat down from Liam Williams. Lewis Rees-Zammit right next to him manages to... Oh, well, there you go. Rees-Zammit kicks the ball away, but to no end, because the Welsh have infringed with a knock-on. not good from Bigger. We feared the worst from a Welsh perspective, and Dan Bigger being replaced on 12 minutes by Gareth Anscombe. So a big game for him now, a long game for him now. Far from ideal for Wales. Gareth Anscombe, obviously, a very, very good replacement for Dan Bigger, a wealth of experience, the 32-year-old who has 36 caps for Wales and now plays his rugby in Japan. But that's a crushing blow for Wales. And later on in the competition, what's that going to mean? That could be a really big injury for them. So let's see what happens. Hopefully the news for Dan Bigger isn't too bad. He's shaking his head about his shoulder. Wayne Barnes, as you would expect, keeping some good discipline at the scrum. But the right-hand side of the scrum coming up there, James Slipper in there. And that's come up against Gareth Thomas. So Wayne Barnes sticking his arm out for Australia, and that's a scrum penalty to Australia. And look at the boys up there. They are absolutely ecstatic with that. Well, you'd have to say that, you know, since Wales scored the opening try in the first minutes of this game, it really is all Australia. And they're a big team side, you have to say, especially at the World Cup, well, and in the Rugby Championship. And they are a big noise. Are they overachieving or are they just a good side? No, they're not overachievers. They've won the competition twice, 91, 99. They're in the final 2003. And they're always there. So for them to lose this match and go out to the World Cup in the pool stages would be the biggest story of this World Cup so far, with the possible exception of Dupont's fractured face, which we'll talk about at halftime. So Ben Donaldson with another penalty, and you couldn't wish. I mean, I'm not going to belittle his efforts at putting the ball over, but you couldn't wish for two more hip loosening penalties than that at the start of a game. So well done to him. He scored 6 points for his team, almost gave away quite a few with that burst through the hands. And Anscombe gets his hands on the ball for the first time. Slightly shorter kick-off. Valentini straight in there and driving route one as he goes. Great support. Also there from Richie Arnold. And then we've also got going in and stepping over the ruck, Nick Frost as well, who's partnering Richie Arnold in the second row for Australia tonight. Valentini picks the ball up. Nobody really knows whether that's an infringement or not, whether to carry on. Another great tackle from Captain Jack Morgan, his opposite number for Wales. But the Australians are very, very well organised here, playing the phases. We've got wingers coming in off their wings, both sides going in to help the other winger. Very, very mobile team, and some big carries going forward here. There goes Nick Frost, I think it is, McDermott with a short pass through to the 6 shirt, and the left winger playing substitute scrum half there with McDermott involved in the ruck. But nice carry there from Robert Leota, who just recycled nicely, pick up and carry. And then in there, beautifully bullet pass out there and a bouncing in. That's well inside the Welsh 22. More territory for Australia. Their fans in the crowd, they're starting to believe it's a good party atmosphere. Now Ryan Ellis under pressure. Here we go. A good take from Wales. Bit of a dog of a pass back there. Clean take off the line out, but the pass not so good. So here we go. Right wing into fullback for Australia. He's a bit isolated. Great tackle there in the midfield from Wales, but they recycle. Valentini out to inside centre for Australia. Great support from the right wing for Australia, and into James Slipper, getting the ball into the middle of the park. Another phase from Australia, who are putting the phases together. McDermott to Donaldson, going nowhere, but he steps and he finds a hole, but it's gone straight back. Oh, Anscombe hit after the tackle there, but legitimately so. He was in the right place at the right time to get the ball back. Is that experience or luck? Is the ball, it's kicked long, and it's taken into in goal by Australia. So a good kick forward down the pitch there from Wales. And it really is an absolutely breathless match, this. Australia again putting the phases together, but the support wasn't quite there. He looked left, Donaldson having made a very unexpected break. That's a great kick from Josh Adams off his wing, chasing his own kick. And there you go. He's forcing Andrew Kellaway, the fullback. Oh, now, surely not. Anscombe still on the floor after taking that hit. And that really would be big for Wales to lose two. Oh, I mean, that's Korobete coming in there, the left winger, and hitting Anscombe just as he hoofed the ball away, and a legitimate tackle. But if they lost two fly halves in the first 17 minutes, that could be catastrophic for Wales. This World Cup just keeps on giving, doesn't it? It's totally breathless. So here we go. Australia dropping out off their own goal line. And nasty little bounce there, but we're going back to here goes Faletau. What a tackle. That's a big collision there. Faletau at full steam ahead. Now, what have we got? We've got Davis not really knowing what to do, but the Australians infringe offside, so they don't need to worry too much about what to do. There you go. Possibly a little bit of an experience again, over exuberance. Tom Hooper, 22 years old, 3 caps to his name. The ACT Brumby, you kind of think that maybe there should be Hoopers there with a bit more experience. I'm not ageist, but, would Michael Hooper have infringed there? He'd have been in there scrapping, that is for sure. So Wales, possibly an opportunity to relieve the pressure. Let's face it, they've been under a lot of pressure. They still lead on the scoreboard, but this is breathless stuff. Oh, and we've got some claret. That's the captain, I think. I think that's Jack Morgan, and he's leaking a bit. So that's going to have time to get repaired. They can stem the flow while Gareth Anscombe gets his first penalty underway. Right on the 10-metre line, right in the middle of the park. But he took that big blow a couple of minutes ago, so you wouldn't be too surprised if he missed this. He was on the floor for a while. Here we go, Anscombe. And he has slotted. It's hit the post. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Is the defence going to rush up? Well, it could have been further up. So Anscombe hits the post. A good chase belatedly there from Aaron Wainwright in the 6th shirt, doing a lot of hard work, as you would expect to. But Australia get away with that. Anscombe settling in on the pitch a lot sooner than he would expect to be. And here we go. Ryan Ellis has the ball in hand, and Wales start again on the halfway line pretty much and get a drive on. They're still in their own territory. But they're still mauling away and wheeling inland a bit. Here comes Faletau to join in. So they think they can get a bit of ground out of this, and he's right as well. Here we go. Now they're making really good runs. So they stop once, he's telling them to use the ball. And it's another penalty to Wales. So that's been brung down by the Australians. Faletau really giving some impetus into that maul, which had kind of got to standing still a bit. Gareth Davis really marshalling his troops well. And cool as a cucumber, as always. Thomas Francis, the Osprey, loads of experience. 74 caps to his name. Now, this is a bit harder. So Anscombe gets a chance to redeem himself. It's a little bit longer. It's just behind the 10-metre line, but only a couple of yards longer. But it's close to halfway to the touchline as well. So it's that little bit further as well. 48 metres. But it's the right side of the pitch for Anscombe as a right footer. And he's got a chance to put Wales 4 points ahead. Currently 7-6 to Wales. That opening converted try, 2 penalties from Ben Donaldson in reply. There we go, Gareth Anscombe. 10-6 to Wales. Here we go. Game back on, and look at those lads in there. They look like they've watched a bit of rugby in their time. ITV, as usual, providing very good coverage of the crowd and the atmosphere in the ground. And this stadium in Lyon, obviously more used to Olympique Lyonnais, but Lyon themselves a very good rugby team in their own right these days as well. And that's who's hosting us tonight, the gastronomic capital of France, lovely town, Lyon, there on the Rhone River. And some very good food to be had in the old town and all over. The gastronomicest country in the world, and the gastronomic home of France. So they really do pride themselves. Here we go. And here goes Gareth Davies. Box kick from inside his own 22. Now it's on the Australian 10-metre line. Kellaway passes infield once, and then it's charged down by the rushing Welsh defence. McDermott into Kellaway again. Now the 12 shirt has it out on the right wing. Some great work by the Welsh midfield to stop that attack there. Donaldson into the heavy lifters. Angus Bell taking the ball, the loose head prop. And now we're into the midfield again. And that is one of the identical twins. It's Richie Arnold. With a big carry there. Liam Williams using all his savvy to bob and weave. Now, talking to savvy, here comes Lewis Rees-Zammit. Can he recoup the ball? No, he can't. The Australian 13 shirt does very well, as does the left winger, to try and recycle under a lot of pressure at the ruck. Rees-Zammit's in there fighting for it. And, very well done indeed. But it's a knock-on as they battle for the ball. And Liam Williams is just having a few seconds to think about a bit of an injury on the floor there. He's got a bit of a neck problem, but good scrapping for the ball there. Real pressure put on the Australians, especially by Will Rowlands there. And Lewis Rees-Zammit joining in to scrabble for the ball on the floor. Good scavenging, but they just knocked on when they were looking like turning the ball over between them. So well done, Wales. More pressure now going back on. Richie Arnold is now down the Australian lock. It looks like he's got a bit of a hand problem, or is it a thigh problem? It's a bit hard to say. The Welsh 8 just getting together for a bit of a conference call while a couple of injuries are dealt with. So we're currently looking at 23 minutes nearly into the game. Wales 10, Australia 6. We're going to try and do this bilingually eventually. Alors, si vous essayez de suivre en français, en ce moment, 23 minutes presque, l'horloge est arrêtée pour l'instant. Les Gallois mènent les Australiens 10-6, quelques petites blessures à soigner, et on va reprendre instantanément. So we have a few glitterati there. We have Prince Albert and Monaco at the match tonight with Bill Beaumont there, and some interested parties. There are fringe benefits to being really famous, or royalty, or international rugby player, or all of the above. Now, here we go. We're ready to go again. So that was a knock on Wales. So McDermott getting ready, Tate McDermott getting ready to put the ball back in for the Australians. Wayne Barnes managing that scrum well. As you'd expect these days, a direct feed into his own forwards, and another scrum penalty against Wales. This is becoming a bit of a problem. And, well, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, I guess tight head props are never happy about that sort of thing. Thomas Francis saying, what the hell is that all about? Looking fairly aggrieved, but needs to turn and face, really. And equally aggrieved, you would say, there is Gareth Thomas, the loose head for Wales. But Australia pretty ecstatic, and Wayne Barnes absolutely adamant. So Donaldson gets a chance to clear the ball into the Welsh half of the field. And yeah, so there's a rise, and it's right in front of referee Barnes again as well. So it's on that side of the scrum, and Gareth Thomas is clearly having trouble dealing with James Slipper, and the result of that is breakaway. A beautiful carry from Leota for Australia. He's really been a thorn in the side, as you would hope a blindside flanker would be, working very, very hard, finding some lines. Donaldson held up. Now, The tackler has got over the ball, and Wales have turned it over. That's a great bit of work. James Slipper's questioning the decision, and rightly so by the looks of it. Whether they've turned that over and then screwed it up Wales, I don't know. But Wayne Barnes has given a penalty to Australia right in front of the post. James Slipper go around congratulating everybody on their hard work. Okay, so that's the tackler's gone in, and if Will Rowlands is the tackler, then should he be clearing away? And he's the person trying to recycle and turn over the ball. So maybe he's getting a bit too enthusiastic there. Okay, Ben Donaldson, here we go. Right, Australia really fancy their chances now. They've started well, they're confident, and they could have taken 3 right in front of the post there. But no, they are going to go for a line out. So, Dave, what have you got? Dave Parecki, I think it's only the second Australian line out of the game, the captain throwing the ball in. Well, that's disastrous for Australia. Somebody's fell over and not picked somebody up. The ball's over the halfway line. It's going to bobble into touch. It's over the 22 and it's bobbled into touch. And that is going to be a 50-22, and it's a Welsh throw. And that is a disastrous result for Australia. And Wales are now getting together. So it's gone way over the back. Australia have kind of fallen over in the middle of the line out. It's gone all the way to the open side. Captain Jack there in the 7 shirt, a couple of bits of tissue paper stuck up his nose like that bloke in A Fish Called Wanda. But Jack Morgan hoofs the ball absolutely miles up the pitch in a kick that any fly half would be completely happy with, and he's gained his side half the pitch, and it's their throw in on a 50-22. And now Wales right in the mix inside the Australian 22. Ball goes out to Anscombe. There we go. Recycling through Elias, who takes a line. And then Will Rowlands finds himself a very, very unassuming and involuntary scrum half. So he picks up and carries. But there you go. Oh, nice pickup from Faletau. Very canny play off the ruck when Davies is just looking to who he's going to pass to. But there we go. Recycled. So the 1 shirt carrying forward again, still in the 22. More. Oh, that's very canny from Williams, because he would have lost the ball there to a big tackle. But we're coming back. We're playing advantage to Wales. So Liam Williams takes the pass and dives on the floor at the same time. Very short pass going over towards the left wing for Wales. But there's some tired bodies out there already. Not rolling away from the ruck for Australia. And it's a penalty to Wales. And no advantage gleaned there from the ensuing play. Anscombe looking for quick ball out to the left wing, and it went through hands nice and quickly. A bit of a rubbish pass from Tompkins out to Liam Williams, who showed all the experience that he has in the form of 86 caps to get on the floor as he received the ball. But as he went to the ground, Wayne Barnes decided there wasn't satisfactory advantage. So here we go. Gareth Anscombe on the pitch a lot earlier than not he, but Wales would have wished, with Dan Biggar going off injured on 17 minutes. He has a chance to make it 13-6, and he does. Alors, le remplacement, le 22, le deuxième ouvreur du terrain ce soir pour les Gallois, passe à un 3e pénalité. 13-6 pour les Gallois, and the daffodils are starting to bounce and the sheep in the crowd, and Wales have their noses more than in front as Ben Donaldson kicks in a very, very short mullet. And here we go. Faletau, ever faithful, ever sure, the big number 8 for Wales. And there he is. He's the main receiver for kickoffs with his 102 caps. A very monumental player for Wales over the last few years, and on his own 22, just inside his own 22, Gareth Davies understandably box kicks for territory. He's got it just over the halfway line. Box kick very well tonight as Davies, and the ensuing comeback from Australia. Jack Morgan trying to drag Kellaway towards the touchline. Tate McDermott recycles Donaldson into midfield, and there we have Valentini, who's held up by the Welsh defence, holding strong. and Donaldson. And there we go. We've got Tom Hooper in midfield, driving on, and somehow manages to offload the ball there. But it's a knock-on. It's a knock-on. It's a very, very canny offload there. And, well, unfortunately, Nick Frost has lost it after taking the ball in. He managed to just pull it back in, but there's a lot of ripping going on in there. Some very, very hard work by the Welsh defence. And I tell you what, this Welsh defence, they'll put up with anything. They really are in the ascendancy, the Welsh. On the defence front against Fiji, they were immense, and they're a team on the up. Now, where are we? We're on the halfway line. Well, I don't know about you. I'm in Scotland. This lot are in Lyon. And we're all at the World Cup. Where else would you want to be? You're listening to RAWTOE. You can follow us on YouTube, RAWTOE. And this is the first actual live commentary I've got around to doing on this World Cup. Gareth Davies, right in the middle of the pitch, waiting with the ball to put it in. And the scrum is holding good for now. Much lower on this side of the scrum. So there's a bit of a fumble there from Davies, who just grubber kicks through. And a nice take from Kellaway, who makes some yards back. But Wainwright's got a great tackle in there on him. Just evaded the first tackle. Now McDermott back to a not particularly ready James Slipper, who goes straight to ground. And McDermott in there, ready, just pulling the ball back. His two locks go in there to give him a bit more distance to box kick. Fairly half-hearted attempt at a charge down from Adam Beard, and Anscombe, who's had a pretty tough shift so far, gets tackled just after catching the ball straight to ground. Poe going along on one leg, and they're back on their own 10-metre line. Now Davies, there we go, straight out, short ball to his hooker Ryan Ellis, and some good support in that first phase of play. Is he going to ask Will Rowlands to go in there to give him a bit more distance? Looking like a box kick, 5 metres off the left wing. Another good box kick there, who's chasing through. And we've got Josh Adams following up. Are Wales going to push Australia off the ball? No, well recycled by Australia. Just coming up to their own 10-metre line. The first carry from James Slipper. And Tate McDermott there. Just running things well, and he's got his locks going in to give him a box kick distance as well. Adam Beard rushing him again, although it's a bit of a pedestrian rush, and up goes Gareth Davies, and Wayne Barnes gives a knock on against Gareth Davies, going up to receive that box kick. It's another breathless game in this World Cup. The fitness is absolutely amazing. And Wainwright going down on his knees there just to try and get a bit of a breather during the breakdown in play. Very unlucky there from Gareth Davies. Went up well, just knocked on under pressure, and everybody's blowing for air. I mean, it's a frantic first 32 minutes. And there's Mark Nawakwitanawazi, which is pretty hard to pronounce, who's blowing himself. He's been involved there in the last few phases of play, but it's very humid, it's very hot. Halfway down France, Masamenas, a bit below halfway down, so it's getting towards the Riviera, nice and warm, and a hot, still summer's evening. Here in Galloway, it's far from summer, it's a hurricane, which you might be able to hear through this condenser microphone. It's a pretty good microphone, I'm not really sure. You'll certainly be able to hear me slurping on this glass of peat pool. Santé tout le monde, consommez avec modération. Moi, j'ai un petit verre de peat pool avec des glaçons, c'est classe. Right, there we go, a big carry in midfield, and right, chance to recycle again. Now, what are we going to do? The right wings came into this as well for Australia, recycling, third phase, and there goes Leota, and again, McDermott recycles. Kellaway trying to scramble and twist and turn his way through midfield, nearly up to the Welsh 10-metre line. Here we go, next phase, and the heavy lifters are coming in. That's Angus Bell, the loose head prop. Now it's a show and go from the 13 shirt for Australia. McDermott recycles again. Gareth Davies up very fast in defence, the 9. And here we go. There's Donaldson. Donaldson offloads to one of his locks. And there we go. Nick Frost redeeming himself somewhat for earlier, but Wales are doing well here. Not too much progress going through the phases, Australia. And that's a shocking pass there. But that's pressure from Wales, and that's really good. RAWTOE chucking a dog of a pass there, which may be explained by him going down with a knee injury. We'll see whether that's the case or not. Hopefully not for him. But Rob RAWTOE, the ball coming out phase after phase. Bullet out there for Gareth Davies. Yeah, so the pass out to the left wing, straight into touch from Australia. So that's a turnover. And an Australian beret there. So RAWTOE's still on the floor here. That's the Australian blindside. So hopefully he's okay. He's getting strapped up, which I don't think they'd be doing if he couldn't continue. Gareth Davies there. Cool, he's got fire in his belly by the looks of it. He looks very, very determined indeed. Now, where are we? We have Wales 13 and Australia 6. It's a right game and a half, is this? And everybody knows what's at stake here. I mean, what a game. It's been absolutely frantic from start to finish, and the crowd currently on show are absolutely passionate. There's lots of glistening foreheads, lots of heavy breathing from all the participants on the pitch, and lots of great slow-mo shots of the early Welsh try there, and the congratulations going on between all the players who were central to that happening. He's had a big game so far. Gareth Davies on screen, the Welsh 9 shirt, great distribution, great experience, 71 caps in his 33 years. Has Gareth Davies, the Scarlets 9. And here we go. Right, so that ball's been passed straight into touch by the Australians. They were absolutely crestfallen about that. Ryan Ellis has the ball in hand. We're ready to get underway again. A good climb there from Adam Beard, as you would expect with all his 50 caps of experience. 50th cap today for him. What a big moment. Now, the hooker has the ball back, and they are mauling up the pitch. Not particularly fast, it has to be said, but they're making good yards. Adam Beard marshalling them well. Ryan Ellis having a look around at his options. Gareth Davies talking to him all the time with his hands on the ball, but Elias still has his hands on the ball as well. They're over the halfway line, and it's come to a halt. So he goes for a bit of a reversey Percy, and he's looking for the crossfield kick. His hands commits perfect. Josh Adams, what a take. Now, oh, how frantic. It's absolutely extraordinary. That was so close to a reversal by Australia. So close. An incredible take from Josh Adams. And a lovely little crossfield kick. Also from Gareth Anscombe to link up with Adams. And he's got rid of the ball. Oh, well, they've called that as in touch. It didn't look in touch to me. I thought he got rid of the ball before... offloaded the ball before going into touch. Anyway, it's Australian ball. That's a decision, and the line-out's been taken, and McDermott is back off the back of another ruck. After one phase, he's going for a box kick, understandable, between his own 22 and 10-metre line. And Liam Williams runs into his own man, but there's no infringement, and they ruck really well. Gareth Davies on the halfway line over on the left wing. And here we go, into Jack Morgan, who carries short and recycles. Okay, so they're just going to set, and Davies is going to box kick from the halfway line. Short, high box kick. Who's chasing that? It's Josh Adams, who takes beautifully, and now they're on the Australian 22, and they decide to recycle the other way. Tompkins takes the option, and then Francis keeps the ball alive really well. Driving on hard is Adam Beard, and the ball comes back. The Welsh, oh, nice line from Faletau, and he's at the 22, the Australian 22 again. Beautiful line from Talapi Faletau. And now we're in, driving on. Ooh, very good support there from Will Rowlands, because otherwise you would have to say that George North was going to be in a bit of bother. Now pressure from the Australian defence, good on them. And Davies doesn't realise the ball's come out, and he's lost it. But it's a free kick to Wales. Okay, so yeah. So Valentini's came through and claimed the ball, where Davis didn't notice it coming out the back of the ruck, but Wayne Barnes is saying, "Okay, there it is," and Valentini's gone straight on the floor. Okay, so Wales retained the ball, but that was a bit touch and go. Amazing, amazing box kicking from Gareth Davies. I'm not the biggest fan of box kicking. He was on his own halfway line, but Josh Adams, what a take that is. And then a crunching hit on Liam Williams. Double hit there in the midfield from Sami Karevi. And the Australian defence as commendable as the Welsh defence, but Anscombe has the ball on the tee again, and he's kicked 3 from 4 since coming on, and it's 30 metres out, right in front of the post. You would expect this to go to 16-6. And indeed it does. There we go. 16-6 Australia. Alors, les deux défenses sont absolument incroyables dans ce match. Les calories qui brûlent, c'est impressionnant. Comme tous les matchs de ce Coupe du Monde, ça a été impressionnant. Maintenant, une autre pénalité pour les Gallois qui mènent 16-6 contre ces Australiens qui sont obligés de gagner pour rester dans le tournoi. Okay, so this is big moments for Australia. That's not a big moment. That really isn't. Ben Donaldson, I was just saying, these are big times for Australia because they 16-6 down. Okay, there's only 39 minutes played. There's a whole half of rugby to go, but he's scuffed that horrifically and put it straight into touch from the kickoff. So can Wales capitalise again before half-time? They'd be happy to go in at 16-6 at half-time. Ben Donaldson, it really is. I don't want to talk hairstyles this early in the game, but that's one of the stranger mullets you'll ever see. I think you can call that a mullet, but it's kind of it's a sort of strap-on barrister's wig that's not white. It's not horsehair. It's like a barrister's wig, but just his natural hair color. Wayne Barnes will be interested in that because he is actually a barrister, although presumably his horsehair is horsehair colored and actually a wig. Anyway, I digress. So here we go. On the halfway line, it's a Welsh scrum. The clock is going down towards the 40 minutes. The ball is not yet in, so we are in the red zone at the end of this first half. Gareth Davies, what's he going to do? Is he going to end the half? The scrum is wheeling. Is it going to be a penalty to Wales? Well, he's playing advantage. And Wales making good yards here. Give it to Rhys Sammet. Give it to Rhys Sammet. Rhys Sammet has the ball. Here goes Rhys Lightning. First carry of the day. Is he going to make it? They're dragging him forward. Can Wales push him over? Jack Morgan's in there. He's going to be held up. Rhys Sammet. McDermott's clapping his hands excitedly because he knows that it's been held up, or he thinks it's been held up. But that was a great scrum and quick play from Wales. Pinged it out to the right wing. Davies to Anscombe. And then there we go. George North just coming inside. Rhys Sammet making a huge amount out of not a lot of space, and the strength of the lad, 22 years old. And he's made it over the try line with a bit of help from his friends, but held up, and he's got his head in his hands because he thinks he should have scored there. And if they'd scored that try, well, would they be home and dry? They go in 16-6 at halftime, Wales, and that is a really, really big half of rugby. The Australians bossed a lot of it. They were in it for 15 minutes, but you'd say Wales with the early try did very, very well indeed. And then we had the Australians with really 15 minutes of pressure and big pressure, a couple of try-saving tackles from Wales. And then after that 15 minutes, Wales coming back into it and having a really good second half of that half. So it really was a tale of three halves. The first 5 minutes was very much Wales. Well, actually, it was only about 3 minutes. And then Australia really started playing very, very hard indeed for 15 minutes. But they only had 6 points to show for it. Could have had a lot more. And then Wales keeping their cool, which is very important when you're playing a big game side like Australia, and really, really coming back into it. And they had those, what have we got now? 9 unanswered points in the second half of that half. Look, I hope you're enjoying the game. I hope you're enjoying RAWTOE. We're covering the World Cup this year, and there'll be updates at times. And then there are also live commentaries. The next live commentary will probably be next weekend, but not really sure. It's childcare dependent. And talking of childcare, I'm going to go upstairs and check that the kids are all behaving well. There's a very funny advert featuring a mullet on the TV, which I really like. It's an Amex advert as well. But there we go. That's the state of play at half time. Wales 16, Australia 6. The biggest minus point for Wales is Dan Biggar going off, injured, shoulder injury after just 10, 15 minutes. I think it was 17 to be precise. So that's a big minus. But on the scoreboard, at the moment, they're looking good. Un grand premier 40 minutes dans ce match, c'est les Gallois contre les Australiens. Et il y a beaucoup à jouer pour, surtout pour les Australiens, parce qu'ils ont cette défaite contre les Fidjiens. S'ils ne gagnent pas ce match de rugby, ici, ce soir, à Lyon, ils prennent l'avion. Ils ont un autre match à jouer, un autre match à contester dans ce tournoi, mais ils ne pourront pas qualifier s'ils perdent ce soir. Alors, il faut qu'ils jouent un grand deuxième mi-temps. Le premier mi-temps, c'était histoire de 3 différents matchs. Pour commencer, bon, les Gallois, ils n'ont pas pu espérer pour un meilleur début. Et ils ont marqué un essai dans les premiers 3 minutes. Après ça, c'était un grand jeu des Australiens. Les prochains 15 minutes étaient presque... Ils ont joué un quart d'heure d'attaque, un quart d'heure d'attaque. Les phases, recyclage. Ils ont très bien joué. Ils n'ont pas stressé. Ils ont joué à leur jeu, à leur temps. C'était très impressionnant. Mais c'est une grande équipe de tournoi. Ils n'ont jamais eu de faillite, les Australiens. Ils n'ont jamais pas qualifié des poules pour les quarts de finale. Alors ce soir, dans 10 répétitions du Coupe du Monde, ça pourrait être la première fois qu'ils vont pas en quart de finale. C'est un grand deuxième mi-temps pour les Australiens qui vient. Entre-temps, moi je vais aller faire nounou et confirmer que les enfants sont dans leur lit. Je vais peut-être faire un petit peu de ravitaillement aussi. Cheers everyone. I'll probably do a bit of refuel station as well. Don't forget to drink in moderation. Sunday night, school night. I've got a cheeky little peat ball de Pinay. Don't know what you're drinking tonight, but yeah, I'm on the peat pool, and we will be back with the second half and other thoughts on rugby-related matters very, very shortly when I've gone to check that my kids are both asleep, despite the fact me being in the living room getting way overexcited about the rugby. I would suggest that you do the same. We'll have halftime thoughts on the games so far this week, des pensées, les aperçus sur les matchs de cette semaine jusqu'à maintenant, bien que le deuxième mi-temps de ce match en live, c'est les Gallois qui mènent les Australiens. Qu'est-ce qu'ils sont là? 16-6. À très prochainement. See you in a moment. It's half time. Hi again, everyone. You are watching RAWTOE, and this is the half-time slot for Wales against Australia in this very important match. In the pool stages, are Australia going to be going home? We're going to find out in 40 minutes' time, because these are big moments for them. If they lose this game, they go home. In the meantime, I've done all the essentials. Got a little cheese selection here, some Scottish cheddar, and some Lanarkshire blue. Courtesy of my friends Murray and Amy at One Little Farm Shop just down the road on the Galloway coast here. An absolutely idyllic spot. Got a bit of a refill as well, and just making a cup of tea. What else could you want in life? We'll do a bit of half-time analysis in a couple of minutes' time, if I've got time. Am I going to miss the start of the second half? I'm not really sure. I certainly am. I'll be with you in a second. Right, here we go, folks. This is the biggest 40 minutes of Australian rugby in the recent past. So they've never, ever failed to qualify in 9 attempts for the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. And they've not started this second half well because, God, I'd be late for my own funeral, me, wouldn't I? Anybody who knows me from the Alps will know I can't be accused of being professional. So I'm late for the start of the second half. But there we go. Australia conceding a penalty there right in the first couple of minutes of this second half. Warren Gatland looking cool as a cucumber, and Anscombe ready to go again. As I was saying, I've got a bit of very, very strong cheddar here. I mean, it's almost like Gouda. It's so crystallized, and it's from One Little Farm Shop down the road. Thank you very much indeed. Love a bit of cheese. Here goes Anscombe from about 10 metres from the touchline, right side of the pitch for him. He's on the left-hand side of the pitch, and he slotted it. So there we go. Another penalty to Wales, 19-6. They are bossing this game at the moment. And I'm going to try and knock this down with a little bit of my mum's green tomato chutney, which is what that little dangler bit there is. Look, it doesn't look very palatable, but oh, it's lovely. There we go, foul out. Here's the main ball taker again, and does very well indeed. Calmed everything down inside his own 22, plenty of bodies in there. And Davis just bringing the ball to the back of the ruck and box kicking. So it stays in field. And who's that? Is that Kellaway? Kellaway piercing a hole as he tends to start with, but then stopped. Ball's on the halfway line, right in the middle of the pitch, into the midfield for Australia. And getting taken to ground there is Jordan Pataya. And then the ball recycled again. A couple of phases for Australia. Oh, but an interception there from Gareth Davis very, very quickly up in defence again, as he was a couple of times in the first half. And then into Will Rowlands, who didn't really know where to go when he got the ball there. So a big high up and under put up. Is that a take? Yeah, that's a takeout in the air from Josh Adams. Not a bad one. But the Australian right winger going up very well for the ball. And Josh Adams just a little bit overly enthusiastic in getting his hands on him. So they've wasted some good territory there. Donaldson takes the ball halfway between his 22 and his 10-metre line and puts the ball firmly on the Welsh 10-metre line. Great rush defence there from Wales, though. Josh Adams, in fairness, going up on the replay there as if he thought he had a chance of taking that ball, which realistically he never really. That's not straight, surely, Barnes. No, and that's again disastrous for Australia. That just makes me want to eat cheddar cheese, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Ah, c'est bon ça. Hein? Tout le monde pense que les Britanniques, ils font pas de fromage, mais en fait, il y a plus de fromage fabriqué dans la Grande-Bretagne qu'en France, ou plus de différentes variétés. Ça, c'est du cheddar, avec un petit chutney aux tomates vertes que fait ma mère. C'est fait maison, ça. Hein? C'est très, très bon. Je le conseille. Si jamais vous allez chez ma mère, demandez-la une petite boîte de conserve de green tomato chutney. Oh, you've got to love a World Cup. Right. Here we go. Scrum time. Wales have the ball. And the Australians only have themselves to blame for that. Wayne Barnes, headmasterly at the scrum. And here goes Gareth Davis. They've got a good shove on the Welsh. And he's going blind. And he's giving Josh Adams one to chase. And he is juggernauting down the wing. But the ball goes into touch. And that will surely be a 50-22. Will it? That'll be a Welsh throw-in. Where did he kick it from? So it's it's a Welsh free kick. Oh, that's gone inside the 22. So here we go. Now the Welsh with the throw-in. Ryan Ellis inside the 22. A good clean take there. And that's great. Oh, there's a crash baller coming in there. Josh Adams, has he got meta bodies going over him? Yeah, the ruck's good. It's a bit tight. Good pressure from the Australians, but Jack Morgan's there to help clear up. It's not going to be a clean take this time. Oh, no, Davis is back up. So there we go. Thomas Francis was nowhere really to go. But the ball's recycled. Jack Morgan carrying again. He's put in a lot of work. Scant presence there for the Welsh, but they're still moving forward. Wainwright with a big carry, but not much momentum. But who's going with the ball next? And here goes Will Rowlands driving on. Steady progress. They're doing all right. But they're leaving lots of bodies out in midfield. George North now with two on him. He's got Donaldson and Karevi on him. But Davis there doing a lot of work. Recycles the ball again. How many phases is this? There's at least half a dozen. And Davis is there again. 9, 10. Oh, it's a cheeky little drop over the top. It's a foot race. Wales are going to score, and they have. That's a lovely little dink over the top from Gareth Anscombe. Very flat line from the Welsh in attack. And also it proved with the Australians in defence because they were only 10 metres from their own line. A dink over the top. Tonkins absolutely juggernauting through. Oh, very savvy line there from Tompkins was on it. It's a training ground call, and he was going before Anscombe got the ball. Anscombe perfectly timed a beautiful little kick over the top under pressure from Dave Parecki, the Australian captain, who was coming up on him to tackle him. And Tompkins grounds the ball. And surely now Australia are on the brink of a World Cup exit. This is absolute crisis times for Australia. 24-6 to Wales with the extras to come. Alors là, pour les Australiens, ils sont vraiment en crise. Deuxième mi-temps, ça fait... ils vont faire 10 points à 0 dans le deuxième mi-temps après 8 minutes sur l'horloge. Et ils sont en crise parce que s'ils perdent le match, ils sont sortis du Coupe du Monde avant le quart de finale. Première fois dans l'histoire du Coupe du Monde qu'il n'y aura pas d'Australiens dans le quart de finale. Et voilà, Tompkins qui fait le rush. C'était incroyable. C'était très, très plat en attaque pour les Gallois, très, très plat en défense pour les Australiens, mais ils n'avaient pas beaucoup de place. L'ouvreur, il balance un petit kick court, un petit coup de pied au-dessus, très, très court. Et Tompkins, le 12, et voilà, en plus, Leota blessé pour les Australiens. Even worse for Australia. They're 20 points down on the scoreboard, and Leota is off the pitch. This is absolute crisis times for Australia. Are Australia going to go out of the World Cup at the pool stage for the first time in their history? Another fantastic box kick from Gareth Davies. You'd have to say, okay, so the Australians have got a chance to run at them, but he's put it deep and long, and Liam Williams turning down the option of making the mark there, and he's gone long as well. Not a particularly good kick, but he's gone for territory. And okay, so Wales win that kicking battle as well. Leota has gone off the pitch for Australia as well, and some pretty glum Australian faces in the audience there in the crowd. Eddie Jones, well, his expression hasn't changed, needless to say, because he's got the same number of expressions as a soap actor in Days of Our Lives. One. Wow, Tompkins, what a game he's having, especially in the last. Oh dear, Anscombe's just put that on the full, but he was playing advantage anyway, so no worries. Another great carry there from Nick Tompkins. Now, that's a high tackle from his opposite number. It's a double high tackle from Karevi and Donaldson. And okay, so in fairness to him, Sammy Karevi is hand straight up saying sorry, my bad, but that's still a pretty bad high tackle. And Anscombe's got the tee out again. He's going to put more daylight between them here because without putting any Murray Walker syndrome on him, you can't see him missing this really. Gareth Anscombe's got the tee, and why wouldn't you kick the points? They're 20 points to the good, the Welsh, and they're having a blinder. They're having an absolute blinder, and they fully deserve their lead. They really do. They're very, very well organised, as you would expect a Warren Gatland team to be. Look at the bench there going absolutely nuts as they score. I'll just take this chance of Gareth Anscombe setting up his penalty to attack this cheese plate a bit more. Je peux vous fortement conseiller le cheddar que je suis en train de manger. C'est du centre de l'Écosse, Anstruther. Et c'est très très bon, un petit peu cristallisé, regardez, du cheddar avec un chutney green tomato, très très bon. Alors voilà Anscombe, absolument plein centre du terrain. Il est juste derrière le ligne de 10 mètres. Alors, il est à 44 mètres, quelque chose. Ouais, voilà, 44 mètres. Alors ça, s'il marque là, ça va être 39-6, 29-6, et ça va être très, très difficile pour les Australiens de revenir. If Anscombe slots this, you would say that Australia are going to find it very hard to come back from here. Right in the middle of the pitch, just outside the 10-metre line, 44-metre kick, and he slotted it. This is really pinch of clock now. Look at those Welsh fans going absolutely nuts. Oh, bit of a, yeah, there we go. They're all having a good time. Warren Gatland, however, nothing. Pan face. Well, that's a really scrappy restart. Wayne Barnes is saying there's a knock on from the Australian right winger. That's really unlucky for Mark Nawakani to reverse. And big news is Donaldson's getting taken off. So Carter Gordon, who's been slated back at home, very inexperienced, but that's the Welsh outfit, that's the Australian outfielder. 22-year-old from Melbourne Rebels, 4 caps, and he's on the pitch. And look at the situation he's going into. Poor sod. What can he do for his team? Well, first thing he's got to do is get the ball back, because at the moment they don't have the ball. Australia in absolute crisis here. And okay, so there's a couple of instances, handling errors, stuff like that. They haven't done themselves any favours. Wayne Barnes has got his head masterly sort of face on, get it together, boys, scrummage properly. Let's just go again. No fault apportioned anywhere. And there we go. Right, going round, giving everybody a pep up is Fraser McRae, who's on the pitch now. So a few change-outs for the Australians. We've got a new 10 on the pitch, and we've got a new blindside flanker. We've got a new prop, and that would be the Monster. So McDermott's getting a bit of a Wendy on about Davies not putting the ball in, but he's entitled to wait. And he did wait, and then the Welsh got the wheel on, and they really bossed the scrum. And it's a scrum penalty to Wales. So the Australians have brought the heavyweights on, and it's really not worked. So we've got a replacement prop on, we've got a replacement blindside on for Australia. That replacement prop is 138 kilos, which I think makes him the second heaviest man in the tournament. And Wales have still bossed that scrum, and I think they've still got their full starting. Yeah, they have still got the full starting front row on. In fact, they're starting type 5. In fact, they're starting 8. That's a really good take from Nick Tompkins. Pretty poor pass from Gareth Davies. Now, what can Reece Lightning do here? The ball's gone over the shoulder of Callaway, but it's gone into touch. Lewis Rees-Zammit really approaching that ball very, very quickly indeed, but it's gone into touch. So, look, Wales haven't put a foot wrong here. They really haven't. And even that is quite a good result for Wales, because the ball's in touch, but they're playing in the Australian end of the pitch, and Australia just inside their own 22 on a short line out. And there we go, with his hands on the ball for the first time is Carter Gordon very shortly, but he's going to have to kick it. He's in the red zone and just about on his own 5-meter line, and he's kicking there. Gareth Davies just cramping up a little bit, maybe, not sure. So a good clearance kick there from Carter Gordon, but it's really not what the Australians need. What they need is to get the ball, run up the pitch, and score a try pretty damn quick. Ryan Ellis and throwing in. Great take from Beard, straight into the midfield. Quick ball. George North bursting through, but a good cover tackle there from Carter Gordon, and recycled again. That's a big flat pass. Josh Adams making good ground. 5 meters from the try line now, but hands over from Valentini, and he's knocked it on. So knock on Wales. Is he calling that a knock on or a forward pass? I haven't actually got the commentary on, so might be a forward pass, might be a knock on. I didn't actually see a knock on, but it is a scrum. And it's pretty much on the 22, so it must have been. And poor old replacement prop who's came on, the big fella's already got half his ear torn off, but that's rugby for you. So we've got one replacement prop out of the two teams at the moment with 57 minutes played, and that's James Slipper, who's gone off for the Australians, the tight head prop. And the big fella replacing him is Ponefa Malusi. So he's 138 kilos. So welcome to a hard evening's work, Wales. And going in through midfield there, Karevi going well. Right, Gordon. Well, it's such a good rush defence from Wales. Falatau's got Gordon wrapped up. He's dragging him down the pitch. So Australia making a few yards, but not without some collateral damage. The Welsh defence is really holding firm there. There's Adam Beard doing more work. That's a pretty poor kick straight up and down, and it's Welsh ball again. It's advantage Wales, and the ball is coming out, so Tompkins can try and do something with it, and there's a pass out the back of his hand. Reece Lightning, is he going to get this? Oh, he's called a mark, so they'll go back for that advantage. A very good option there from Anscombe. He's had a great game as Gareth Anscombe, and all that experience. Okay, so he's only got how many caps has he got, Anscombe? 36, but 32 years old, played an absolute raft of rugby, and he's had a great game since coming on. He's taken some hits, he's worked hard, he's taken good options, and now, there's some more minutes gone. And Wales continue to boss the game. I mean, this is an absolute trouncing at the moment. And here's another minute soaked up while Anscombe takes his kick. Alors, vraiment très difficile maintenant. Anscombe, le 22, le changement ouvreur pour les Gallois, qui est en train de se préparer pour une autre pénalité, a joué un grand jeu ce soir. Hein. Il est arrivé sur le terrain imprévu, avant temps, parce que Bigard est blessé. Entre-temps, moi, je vais manger un petit bout de bleu écossais. C'est un Lanark bleu, très, très bon. On produit beaucoup de fromage bleu en Grande-Bretagne, y compris l'Écosse, que l'Angleterre et Pays de Galles. Alors, les Gallois, en parlant de Gallois, une autre pénalité, 32-6. Avec 20 minutes qui restent, c'est très, très difficile de revenir maintenant pour les Australiens. Nice little bit of Lanark blue going in here. It's very tasty. And who have we got coming off? Okay, so Kellaway coming off, the 15 shirt, the fullback for Australia. And we've also got, it's a double change for Australia. And we're back underway. So the replacement hooker is coming on, as is Vunivalu in the 23 shirt for Kellaway. So that may be to give them a bit more attacking potency. We'll see how they go. But Fiesler, Matt Fiesler, the Queensland's Reds hooker, coming on for the captain, Dave Porecki. So that would presumably be an injury. And here we go. The Australians on their own 10-metre line, but making good progress and recycling the ball. Josh Adams is going to get done for being not rolling away there. No, there goes the big fella, the replacement prop, in making a few yards. And now the Australians really seem to have some intent in their attack, and they're looking at the clock going, well, we need to do something here. And they're a dangerous side when they got the backs to the wall. They're a world-class side. They're a World Cup winning side, and they're a Rugby Championship winning side. So the Welsh defence at the moment is still very, very strong indeed, pushing up very enthusiastically, possibly offside there, but I think they're just so fast they look offside at times. But they are drift defensing a bit at times as well. And Australia having trouble getting their man on the deck. And the Welsh have bossed them again. I mean, it's a great bit of defence from Wales. And who's getting the plaudits seconds after coming on a big, big hit in the chest there. Absolutely massive hit for Thomas Williams. It's just extraordinary. And he's taken one right in the sternum there and just kept going, bossing the ball out. Unbelievable. Gotta love rugby, haven't you? A bit of white wine, bit of rugby, bit of cheese, bit of cheesy commentary. Thanks for joining us on RAWTOE. It's been a great evening so far. If you're Welsh, it's been a great evening so far. If you're a rugby fan, it really has. That's really salty, that blue. Gosh, lovely. Absolutely delicious. Doesn't do your commentary much good, but at least you don't just have to listen to me. Right, so here we go. It's scrum time. And Thomas Williams is first put into the scrum since coming on. Cardiff Blues, 50th cap as well. 2 half centuries for Wales tonight, him and Adam Beard. And their experience, quite frankly, showing. What I didn't do before the start of the game was tot up the cumulative caps for Wales and Australia. Oh, nice pick-up from Liam Williams. And that's looking like a great kick over the top. Oh, it's a lovely take from the left winger, though, who keeps the ball in play, which is really what the Australians need to do. Having said that, they've hoofed it away again. And it's gone out on the full as well. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. Well, the right winger there having a bit of a whinge, as Australians tend to. But well, they're saying is he outside his 22? Yeah, he's probably whinging anyway. So that was nearly too long there from Elias. But the ball's in play, and Nick Tompkins struggling there. A big hit on Tompkins there. And that's the first foot he's put wrong tonight, really. There's a lot of tired bodies out there now. Tompkins getting back up very, very gingerly indeed, because that was a big hit and he's lost the ball forward, but understandably so. A big take from Talupi Faletau, though. And nice distribution in midfield, but a big, big tackle there from Carter Gordon on Nick Tompkins, who loses the ball forward, but, it soaks up a minute to get the scrum set, doesn't it? Wales are in a position of comfort. They don't need to worry about that. They're 32-6 to the good. 32-6 en faveur des Gallois. Bon, ils ont perdu la balle en avant, là, Tompkins, avec un grand plaquage, il a perdu la balle. Mais ils sont dans un lieu de confort. Ils n'ont pas besoin de chasser la match comme ils ont les Australiens. Voilà, introduction à la balle. Here we go. Australia get a chance to shine again. Valentini. Here we go. Through the midfield. And he goes, just out the back of the hand from the right winger there, but it's not gone to hand. And they're just rushed. They're simply rushed by the Welsh defence. They're rushed by their predicament. They're 32-6 down. They're going out of the World Cup. And what are they going to do about it? Okay, so he's broken through one tackle there, but George North on a good recovering tackle there. You'd say Josh Adams had the replacement fullback covered. And we've got Richie Arnold going off and been replaced at second row. He took a bit of a knock earlier. I thought he was looking like getting up a bit gingerly earlier in the game. But he's gone off sometime later. The ball's on the floor. Nobody's noticed. But he's playing advantage to Wales anyway. And Australia, again, don't get any change out of that. So I would feel sorry for them, but they're Australia. So I can't. But you have to take your hat off to Wales. I mean, Wales are just absolutely playing them completely out of this match. Matt Phillip is the latest replacement to come on at lock for the Australians. The 29-year-old Melbourne Rebels, 28 capper. So he's relatively experienced for this Australian side. And going off is Richie Arnold. who has done his day and probably his tournament. He plays here. Well, here he plays in the host nation, France. A couple of changes for Wales now as well. Their whole front row going off. Can they? Well, I don't want to say it, but can they really now lose? They've got a whole new front row coming on. Mind you, the first thing the replacement hooker has to do is throw the ball in. Never the easiest there for Elliot Dean. So he's done really well there because they've got a good maul going. There we go. Williams gives it to George North, still driving forward. Very, very hard to put on the ground. He's on the ground now. The ruck is formed. And then Wainwright, a canny offload to Josh Adams. And he's on the floor now, right over on the left wing. Williams recycles again, and there in goes Will Rowlands, but that's a poor pass, and the Australians turn the ball over. Now, is there a bit of a gap anywhere? Not really. The Welsh defence up very quickly, and it's a knock. Oh, they've knocked it on. They've just... You have to say, really, without being too harsh, the Australians just really haven't turned up this evening. Okay, so they've been made to make errors, but they've really just not turned up at all this evening, the Australians. Wales have just played a big team game. It's as simple as that. They've been absolutely immense, the Welsh, to a man, absolutely brilliant. But we're only 66 minutes in. Haven't even finished the cheese course yet. So plenty can happen yet. That's the end of McDermott. Now, this could be a big change because for me, I mean, McDermott's a great player, but for me, Nick White would be the starting 9, formerly of Exeter Chiefs, of course. And he is now on the pitch in the 21 jersey. He plays his rugby at Brumbies these days. So he's in the Super Tournament. Nick White, an absolute terrier, even by scrum half standards. Alors, changement de demi-mêlée, mais avec les Gallois qui viennent de changer tous leurs premières lignes, les deux piliers et le talonneur, ils mènent par 26 points. Il y a 13 minutes sur le chrono. On va dire que ça va être très, très difficile pour les Australiens de revenir d'ici. On va commencer à attaquer un peu le fromage, toujours. Un petit cheddar avec du chutney tomate vert. We'll keep trying to eat and drink a little bit. It is rugby after all. Okay, scrum set. Thomas Williams ready with the ball. And Nick White looking like trying to annoy him. Ball's in. And the Welsh scrum holds its own, as it's been doing very, very well all night. Reece Lightning's got the ball out on the wing. Very quickly pinged out. But, that's pretty canny from George North. Picked up off the back of the ruck. And a bit of a jink around. And he got himself on the floor and recycled the ball again to give Williams a chance. Oh, there's a big hit for the replacement prop first time in. So Wales just going through the phases here, not really going anywhere, but also not needing to, obviously. So that's all good and well for them. And Jack Morgan still on the pitch with a good carry there. Couple more good phases there from Wales. And they're just rocking away. Falatau somehow manages to make another 5 meters. And there we go. The replacement props coming into the game. The 18 shirt out to Nick Tompkins, who's not really got anybody with him. So he offloads to Anscombe. It's kind of sevens, this. What's going on? Falatau on the floor. And they're going blind. And Tompkins only has Adams outside him. And the Australian defence is holding firm at the moment. And we've got the replacement hooker going in there as the number 9. Oh, pops up nicely. Everything, absolutely everything is going Wales' way. It just pops up nicely for Thomas Williams. Are they going to go for the drop? And there's Anscombe dropping another 3. Unbelievable. 35-6. This is just dreamland for Wales. It's absolute dreamland. Anscombe's had the game of his life. Everything's going right. The Australians can't put a foot in the Welsh half. This is, I'll call it now, this is game over. There's no way the Australians are coming back from this. If you're aware of Murray Walker syndrome, you'll know that you shouldn't say things like that. I'm so sure that I'm going to drink a bit of tea instead of some wine. And it's a knock on from the replacement Australian fullback. So this couldn't be going worse. Vunivalu there knocking on. And we've got Rio Dyer coming on here, the future for Wales in the 23 shirt. He's an incredible winger from Dragons. He's had a bit of a character building start to his international career, but he's already 11 caps in. Oh, now this isn't looking good for Wales because Lewis Rees-Zammit, Rees Lightning is anything but like, I don't know, he's getting into his run a bit now, but hopefully he's not crocked. He's going off the pitch now, but hopefully he's not too crocked because he's a Gloucester player and I'd really like him back for the rest of the season, selfishly, as a Gloucester fan. I'd also like him to run out for Wales, despite the fact that they might face England at some point, because he's such a generational talent. What a lovely guy and what a great rugby player. Very nearly made a try just there earlier, absolutely kicking himself for no reason for not grounding it because he made so much out of so little. Anyway, he's off the pitch, replaced by Rio Dyer. It's a free kick to Wales on their own 10-ish metre line, is it? And poor old Jack Morgan has had those two bits of snot rag shoved up his nose ever since the start of the game. I don't know how he's breathing. He's absolutely leaking. Poor sod. Now, Elliot D is having a word with the ref about scrummaging. No, he's not, sorry. Corey Domachowski is. So let's see what happens here. And we'll get a bit of Lanark Blue in. So it's a Welsh scrum. 72 minutes gone now. Thomas Williams waiting patiently with the ball, but he can afford to be patient because he doesn't need to score. He just needs to clock the run down. The ball is in. The Welsh scrum holds firm. Australia have never really threatened scrum-wise tonight. That's a good spoil by Australia, but Wales still have the ball. And Captain Jack, ever faithful, ever sure, as is Adam Beard, who takes the next phase into the ruck. Both of those carrying well tonight for Wales. Looks like Thomas Williams going to box kick, almost back on his own 22, 7 or 8 metres from the left wing. Now, we've got a chaser. There goes Rio Dyer. He's up, and that's retrieved by the... Oh, no. So he was playing advantage there, and Wayne Barnes is saying knock on. Oh, that's a deliberate knock on. And that's from Sami Karevi, the Australian centre, who I think really is lucky not to have been yellow carded tonight for that high tackle. But anyway, that's a deliberate knock on, and he's still got away with not getting yellow carded. But Anscombe gets a chance to clear the Welsh lines. And there you go, from just inside his own 10-metre line, he puts it on the Australian 10-metre line. I think the touch judge has been a little bit harsh there with his pacing up the line. But Wales not getting too excited yet. But they are bossing this. It's as simple as that. So there's Elliot D. Ooh. And if they needed to try to win the game, the Welsh should probably be kicking themselves there. But a bit of a screw up at the line out. And Australia get to walk down the pitch and put a bit of pressure on much closer, into Welsh territory. So there they go. On the 22, quick ball from Nick White, as you would expect. Carter Gordon does okay, but there's a bit of a scoop up from the... it's gone backwards. That's okay. dropped the ball, but got it back. Australia continues through the phases, but it's a high tackle. So they've got a penalty. That's definitely a high tackle. But of course, penalties are no good to Australia apart from being able to put the ball right down by the try line, which he's failed to do. He's kicked it into the in-goal area as Carter Gordon, absolutely slated earlier in the tournament by the Australian press. And now the Australians, whether they're on the bench or in the crowd, know that this is over, and plenty of them are leaving. And this is a done deal. It really, in fairness, it has been for a long time. But as we used to sing to them at the cricket, we can see you sneaking out. Not that we ever beat them at cricket very often, but there are now quite a few Australians leaving the ground because this is done. This is over as a contest. A bit like the contest between me and this bottle of Pete Paul de Pinet. Don't think I'll be drinking any more of that tonight. It's nearly 10 o'clock. It's a school night and work tomorrow. But here we go. We scrummage on, and Thomas Williams popping the ball in. Scrummaging's got a lot better since Wayne Barnes had a bit of a chat with them all. A couple of scrum penalties in each direction. But here we go. Wales on blind. And out to Rio Dyer, who's, oh dear, trying to offload straight to Nick White, the Australian scrum half. And that all falls apart. So it's not really gone well for Wales, but then again, it's not really gone all that well for Australia. George North still on the pitch. Well done, George. He is, what's he up to this evening? Ridiculous 115 caps for him. You've got to take your hat off to Jack Morgan tonight. 13th cap. He's played the whole game with a lot of stuff up his nose. His nose been bleeding. The Australians straight over the ruck and just schoolboy stuff there. But they've, I guess they've given up. You know, there's three minutes to go. This is as comprehensive an exit as you can make from a World Cup. I mean, they haven't done themselves any favours, but really they've just been completely outplayed by the Welsh. What a result this is for Wales. It'd be a massive shot in the arm. They can go into their last game knowing that they can play free-flowing rugby against who are they playing next? Oh dear, I can't remember. Right, here goes Elliot D on the Australian 5 metre line. Are Wales going to add insult to injury and maul their way to another try? And they have. That's another try to Wales. I mean, what a team. They've just played out of their skins tonight. They really have. Classic line out, straight into a maul. Clean take, as we've had all night tonight from the Welsh. And now they really are starting a party. They really are. Beautifully worked line out, and Tane Basham taking the ball and then running things from right in the middle of the maul, directing things. Adam Beard, the first there to help him out, the half-century maker tonight, and they've done amazing. And the Australians, well, Tom Hooper there looks just absolutely crestfallen. And they know they're going home, and it's pretty hard to take for the Australians. But what do? They've been outplayed. They've come to this World Cup with, Anscombe's missed the conversion. Bon, c'est pas grave. Anscombe qui loupe les extras, transformation, mais il mène par 40 à 6, ça n'a aucune importance, avec 1 minute sur l'horloge. So, you know, they've come here with an inexperienced side selected by Eddie Jones, and it's not worked, and that's that. So on you go. Eddie Jones said they were preparing for 2027. Well, that's going to be the next World Cup rugby they're playing, that is for sure, because they've got another fixture to complete. But barring disasters for Wales, they are on down the road. Same goes for Fiji, obviously. It's going to require another win for Fiji. But you have to say Wales coming good at the right time. I mean, what a tournament for Wales so far. The game against Fiji, bar the stress of the last 10 minutes. Again, a big game from a big team, and their defence has just been... even Warren Gatland's smiling now. Really, Warren Gatland is smiling. And that doesn't happen every day. So it's a party atmosphere. The clock's in the red. And here we go. It's the last play of the game. Can they restore a bit of pride? No, he's held up. I mean, if that's not just a true reflection of the day for Australia. And the Welsh are really, really pleased there to have stopped the Australians from scoring as well. I mean, what a game from Wales. They've got so much momentum to take forward from this. Look at Adam Beard has got his scrum cap off and he is very emotional. During the game, he's rarely anybody to show any emotion. Very self-effacing guy. And there you go. They're just... the Australians, nothing whatsoever to take from the game. Eddie Jones is at the end of his managerial career. They got another game to play, but I mean, it's all over, isn't it? That is an absolute thrashing for Australia. They've got nothing to take from the game whatsoever. They were outplayed apart from minutes 5 to 20 maybe, when they really did have Wales under the pump for a while and they were going through the phases. They looked really good. Wales held their nerve and they completely put them to the sword. I mean, a very, very good performance from Wales. And that's all that they need. They need to keep improving, keep putting in performances like that. And they're in with a real chance in this World Cup. They're in the set. I've got messages coming through from Welsh fundamentalists now who'll be saying how incredible it was. Hello to the Val d'Isère boys. And what we got? We were gorgeous. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Oh no, we were composed, but Aussies were not very good. It says, yeah, doesn't actually say that, but it says the Aussies weren't very good. But the Australians weren't very good, but they were also pressured into a lot of mistakes by a very good Wales side. Il faut dire que les Gallois étaient très très impressionnants. Bon, les Australiens ne sont pas vraiment arrivés, ils manquaient de l'expérience. C'était un problème pour eux, surtout à part les 15 minutes où ils ont vraiment bien joué, entre minutes 5 et 20. À part ça, c'était tous les Gallois. Hein, et les Gallois, ils étaient vachement impressionnants. Ils ont eu une gestion de match parfaite. Anscombe, ils ont eu un désastre très très tôt, avec Bega qui est sorti du terrain avec une blessure de l'épaule. Anscombe était parfait, 11 sur 10. Ils sont en paradis. C'est vraiment, pour eux, ça pourrait pas être mieux. So, there you go. Lots to take from this game for Wales. Hopefully Rees-Zammit's okay. Hopefully Biggar's okay. That'll be a big loss for them if Biggar can't start again, has a tournament-ending injury. And we'll see what happens. Look, I hope you've enjoyed RAWTOE commentary tonight. This is the first live commentary we've done on this tournament. So you can follow us, subscribe, like, whatever you want to do. And we can share some good wine, good cheese, and good rugby later in the tournament. Just to go through what's happened this week. Very important to do so because there's been a lot of big happenings at the World Cup this week. Now, notably, we had to start off the week, Italy-Uruguay, another valiant performance from the Uruguayans, but ultimately the Italians kept their cool and played a very good, 60 minutes, even if they took a while to get going. That was Wednesday. Then Thursday night, France-Namibia, obviously the big talking point from that was the Dupont injury, which could be tournament changing for France. He is the poster boy of this tournament. He's the best player in the world, the best 9 in the world, and that would be a game changer for France. Very encouraging to see the return of Bai at prop and Danty in the centre, because he had a very big game for France. And Bai too, very impressive indeed. Je disais que les Italiens contre les Uruguayens, bon, les Uruguayens ont très bien joué, encore une fois. Les Italiens, éventuellement, ont commencé à jouer et ils ont gagné. La France, Dupont, ça va être grand. Sterling Mortlock, l'ancien Australien, il dit que ça va être un réparage au titanium. Il va rejouer ce tournoi. So that's big coming from Sterling Mortlock, the Aussie legend, who had a similar injury to what Dupont's got. And he was saying that they'll want him to play again, so they'll stick a titanium plate in him and he'll play through the pain. I think that's very likely, knowing the guy, his character, what he's like. That's probably what's likely to happen. Then Friday night, Argentina-Samoa. Argentina are up and running. No bonus point. They weren't playing with a particularly massive amount of confidence. But they got going. A good Samoa side, but the sort of Islanders handling errors, a bit too much spontaneity, maybe. Dan Bigger on the screen, not looking too upset. So maybe he'll be okay. We'll see. We have some fashion to talk about on a RAWTOE recording at some point from the Argentina-Samoa game. Then, of course, the big one of the weekend from the standings point of view was South Africa, Samoa. Big Sam Warburton on the analysis this evening, former Welsh captain, another former Welsh captain as well, Gareth Thomas. So that's really, really good to see. And Dan Bigger just having a bit of a laugh and a joke with Gareth Hanscom, holding that shoulder a bit though. So hopefully he's okay, and we'll see. But Dan Bigger not looking too unhappy there. South Africa, Ireland. I kind of felt like the referee, I really like that referee, but I kind of felt like he let South Africa get away with being offside or just hanging around at the ruck in the first half. But the Irish stamina was just extraordinary. They kept their cool when South Africa were really outplaying them at one point, and the whole game was really exciting. It was such a fantastic spectacle, and it really was just marvelous. A great contest and a great result for Ireland, although South Africa could have nicked it at the end. I couldn't believe that the Irish kicked the ball away with a minute to spare for the territory. Jack Morgan just about to get interviewed, the Welsh captain. Gareth Thomas now on the analysis, former Welsh captain as well. What else do we have? Georgia, Portugal. What a game of rugby. You have to say a real game, to very fitting for Toulouse's stadium. Really, really extraordinary. George North giving the pep talk now at the post game climbing from all the players, and a hell of an atmosphere in Toulouse for Georgia, Portugal, a large immigrant community into France from both countries. And Portugal, I mean, they really play rugby like they play football. It's just open, it's beautiful. And George Gregan, former World Cup winner with Australia, also on the analysis at the moment. James Slipper in tears. Can't say I blame him, except it's not James Slipper, it's Angus Bell. What else do we have? England, Chile, lots of tries. But what have we really learnt about England? Probably that George Ford needs to play 10. And Marcus Smith will be pretty good at fullback, although maybe not as reliable under the high ball as Freddie Stewart. I mean, for me, Ford, Marchant, Tuilangi. I'd say Ford, Marchant, Slade, but he's not there. There you go. That's what we've learned there. Scotland, Tonga, great game today. big representation from Galloway as well. So a very big hello to everybody from Galloway who's down there in Nice, no doubt in the drinking establishments by now. And well, Tonga, they really brought the game in, and they represented their country very well. But it was a real Islanders game, and lots of handling errors, a couple of no arms tackles. I would have thought, Scotland would be pretty happy with their performance. A team who will be very interested in Scotland's performance is Ireland, and it didn't really click for Scotland with the bench on the pitch. So Ireland will be very interested to see that and see how that plays out in the big game of that group, which is the last game of that group in 2 weeks' time. Mark Pugach with a very nice blue herringbone jacket on. Good on him. And the next thing we need to discuss is national anthems, but we'll do that in the weekend catch-up at some point on the recording. This has been RAWTOE, and you can like us or subscribe on YouTube. There'll be more live commentary with next week's games. So we'll join in then. Merci d'avoir écouté. On va faire encore du live plus tard dans le tournoi. Pour l'instant, c'est la fin des matchs pour cette semaine et on aura des enregistrements en anglais et en français de ce qui s'est passé toute cette semaine, de mercredi jusqu'à ce soir. Et après ça, il y aura du commentaire en live pour la semaine prochaine. Entre-temps, je vous laisse avec mon Picpoul, mon tasse de thé, avec un nuage de lait et un peu de sucre. Et ce qui reste de mon fromage, qui est zéro parce que j'ai tout bouffé. A very good evening to you all. And bye-bye Australia. Did I say that out loud or just think it? I'm English, so I have to thrive on the misfortunes of Australians. Advance Australia fare all the way to the airport.